Hello everyone, this is me, Tim, sitting down with my dad, Tinku Thompson, for another episode of Thriving Talk. Hope everyone has enjoyed the last episodes. How are you today, Dad?
I'm doing good. Good to be in a little bit better shape health-wise because of the cold and other things which I had last few weeks. So it's good.
Good to know. A reminder to all our listeners, Thriving Talk is available on major platforms like iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and more. So for today's topic, we are going to talk about laziness. So to start off, what does the Bible say about laziness?
Laziness. Okay. Are you lazy? Tell me the truth. Are you lazy?
I don't know how to answer that.
Why you don't know? Are you lazy? Do you do your work?
Yeah, most of the time.
Okay, so you asked me first, what does the Bible say about laziness?
Yep.
Okay, that's a good question. Let's start from there then. I want to read Proverbs 13 verses 4. It says, lazy people want much but get little, but those who work hard will prosper. Okay? So the lazy people want much but get little, but those who work hard will prosper. Proverbs 21:25 says, despite their desires, the lazy will come to ruin, for their hands refuse to work. Again, I say, despite their desires, the lazy will come to ruin, for their hands refuse to work. 2 Thessalonians 3:6-12 says, and now, dear brothers and sisters, we give you this command in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Stay away from all believers who live idle lives and don't follow the tradition they received from us. For you know that you ought to imitate us. We were not idle when we were with you. We never accepted food from anyone without paying for it. We worked hard day and night so we would not be a burden to any of you. We certainly had the right to ask you to feed us, but we wanted to give you an example to follow. Even while we were with you, we gave you this command. Now listen, those unwilling to work will not get to eat. Yet we hear that some of you are living idle lives, refusing to work and meddling in other people's business. We command such people and urge them in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ to settle down and work to earn their own living. Right? So I'm not going to read anymore, but I think it's very obvious and very clear that Bible teaches us that the lazy people want much, they get little. They desire, but the lazy people's desire comes to a ruin, for their hands refuse to work. And in 2 Thessalonians, Paul tells that those unwilling to work will not get to eat. So that's what Bible has to say. So in summary, I would say that Bible doesn't support anybody who is lazy. Bible actually tells us to be diligent and to work and not be a lazy person.
So why do we become lazy?
Why do we become lazy? Okay. So I was just going to do something. Okay. I said earlier about Proverbs 20:13. I got it now. So it says, if you love sleep, you will end in poverty. Keep your eyes open and there will be plenty to eat. Okay. Now, why do we become lazy? That's an interesting question. Because people don't get it. Okay. So a lot of times we talk about relaxing, right?
Yeah.
Relaxing is needed in life. Sometimes people are so much in the other extreme that they are workaholics, they don't take rest, and it affects their physical health, emotional health, mental health, spiritual health, everywhere. So they don't relax at all. But there are people who go to the other extreme of relaxing. And what happens is, even though relaxing is good, before you know it, you may be relaxing too much. And you may feel yourself getting lazy. Now, the longer you stay lazy, the harder it is to get out of it. The longer you stay lazy, harder it is to get out of it, right? How? So, if you sleep one day till 8 o'clock, then 9 o'clock, then 10 o'clock, and then what happens is changing your habit becomes very difficult. I will talk about the habit here very soon here. But then what happens is when we spoke about technology addiction, right, few episodes ago or
Yeah.
last episode, I guess. So I said same way laziness can be addicting as well. So people want to stop work on everything and they just want to hang around, sit, relax, browse internet on the phone, watch videos, or maybe on Netflix or something else, whatever they use. And they stop being productive and stop trying to grow. They may seem, fine for the time being, but will eventually they will even stop trying to grow or come out of it, right? This may seem fine for time being, but well, it's not. So daily things you need to get done are not getting done. Some of these things are piling up, and you think that you can do it the next day, and you delay it because you're lazy today. But then the next day fills up the other things which are there to be done the next day. So it becomes an endless cycle, and what happens is we end up with a lot of pending things in life, and we will not be able to figure out what to do, right? And then we develop anxiety, stress, fight, problem in families, between spouse, husband, wife, there could be problems. Children, parents problems can develop. So if somebody is lazy and leaves the house dirty all the time, there will be a lot of stress in the house, right? So that's the other problem. But one more thing I want to say, right? So your question was, why do people become lazy, right? And so I will tell you one more thing here, is that God did not create us to be lazy. God created us so that we can be fruitful, work, and so we were created that we should be active in life. So that's why the fundamental thing is, if you're very active and if you exercise or if you do work and stuff, you get good health. But if you just lie down on your bed all day, we all know that you'll get sick very soon, right?
Yeah.
So we are not created for that. And then why people get lazy is because they just want to relax, and then it becomes a habit. Some people develop laziness as it becomes an addiction in their life. So they don't want to do things. So that's what it is.
Vacationing a lot also fits with this, right?
Vacationing a lot?
Yeah.
It depends. If somebody has worked hard and they want to take a vacation, it's okay. But then sometimes vacation, going on vacation can be hard work for many people.
Yeah.
At least for me, I think.
Yeah.
If we have to go somewhere, like there is a lot of effort which goes into it. So I don't know about vacationing, but I would say maybe something like, when without doing anything, you go somewhere and, spend some time and all. So I'm not sure about vacationing part, but yeah, it could be.
So what can we do to not become lazy?
What we can do to become not okay. So first of all, I think the Thriving Talk, as you might have realized so far, that we base our principles on the basis of the Bible and the teachings of Lord Jesus Christ and what the Bible teaches, right? So as I read in the beginning some verses from the Bible, the first thing we have to realize is that laziness is not something good for us, fundamentally. If you look at the creation story, Adam and Eve were put in the garden to take care of it, right? So sometimes work can become boring, tedious, and sometimes it can be fun and joy. Sometimes it can be challenging too. But the fundamental question is, are we doing the duties and the things we are supposed to do? And so many times having that mindset that I'm not created to be lazy is very important, right? So I have a purpose. So we did an episode on purpose of life.
Yeah.
And one more thing is, a lot of times people who are lazy don't have any goals in life. They don't have anything to achieve. They're not looking forward to achieve anything in life. They're just going with the wind. They just like a leaf which is on the ground. If the wind blows south, it will go south. If the wind goes north, it will go north. Wherever direction it is. Yeah. So a lot of people's life is like that only. But first of all, we need to have a realization that we are not created for being lazy. And then understanding that laziness will not yield much. It will end up being a life which is wasted, right? So now, how to stop being lazy? It can be different for different people. Some people may need a lot of motivation to do something. Maybe you need some motivation at times, right? And encouragement at times. So it cannot be like purely from motivation from others, but there has to be a change in ourselves too. Like people can motivate us, tell us a lot of good things, but if we are not committed for a change, that can be a problem, right? We may be doing for one day, but we need to have that conviction. You have to get to the point where you desire to do beyond what you are doing now.
So true, like commitment.
Yes, a good way to get out of laziness is to set small goals for yourself, right? So for example, I have a goal, let's say, to read 10 books this year. And I'm always thinking that I will get to it. Oh, let's say January comes and I make this goal for this year. And I say, okay, I'm going to read 10 books this year, but I have 12 months left. So first month goes by because I never got time, right? Second month goes by, third by. So what happens is I always think that I need like to read 10 books. I need like a lot of time and all those stuff, right? So but if I think that, okay, I need to read 10 books, but what I need to do is take out like 10 to 15 minutes a day.
Also, a quick thing, 10 books is actually very small.
Based on what you read. I see your books you read, they are very tiny books. But I'm talking about books which has got 300, 400, 500 pages, like the big books, right? Yes, I agree. There are a lot of books nowadays which are small and you can complete that in 2 hours, 3 hours. But again, I'm saying if you don't do like 10, 15 minutes a day, let's say you say that I'm going to read 10 minutes or 15 minutes a day, what will happen is very soon, within 6 months, you will finish up your reading goal, right? But if you don't have a goal in the first place, you're never going to attempt that. So there are many examples like that. So what we can do is, try to achieve little things and then move forward. Same thing I have told in other episodes about how to learn. You have to be learning new things, right? So you can't be thinking that, I need to find out like 25 hours to learn something. What you could do is you could spare 15, 30 minutes a day. And let's say let's say you want to do a course or something which is 20 hours. And you take, let's say 30 minutes a day. Tell me how many days it will take to finish it. Let me check your math.
20 hours?
20 hours and 30 minutes a day. How many minutes are there in an hour?
60.
60. So 1 hour in?
2 days.
2 days. So 20 hours in 40?
40 days.
40 days. Why are you thinking so much?
I got lost for a second there.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say, in 40 hours you would be doing that. But if you always think that I need 20 hours and being lazy, you will not be able to do that. Another thing I want to say is, we need to come out of the mindset of perfection, right? Sometimes people don't do things and become lazy because they feel like, they won't be able to, do it perfectly, and they strive for perfection. Even our Thriving Talk is a good example. Can we do it much better than this and a lot of other stuff? Yeah, absolutely, we could do that. But the problem is, yes, we may reach a little better, we may better as we get feedback from people, we may do things better, but if you are looking for that perfection where everything will be good, we may never get even started, right?
Yeah.
So we will have to make it simple. So, we'll have to make simple tasks, we'll have to break it down, we have to make small progress, we have to be having that conviction. And, if you have a lot of things to do in life and then you are lazy, it is going to be a perfect combination which will lead you into a big problem later. So we could do like, make a list of things we need to do and say that, okay, I'm going to do few things today and few things tomorrow, plan it out, then we can slowly come out of it, right? And then it can boost your self-confidence too. So, but I would say primarily it's a purpose of life. What do you want to achieve with your life? And then executing through some other things. I think we did an episode in Stay Productive or something where I have shared tools and tips about it. I think this is connected because still you get into some rhythms of laziness. I will give you one example from my own life. Recently what happened is, when I was not working full time, or when I was recovering from my sickness, I had a lot more time at my hands. So I had a schedule and I had a routine. But when life got back into normal and busyness and everything came, I find it more and more challenging to do everything. So what I had to do is, actually I'm working on it, is to revisit my routines and schedules and see now, with the new realities of life, how am I going to, what are the things I can actually do, right? But otherwise what is happening is, I know I'm not going to do everything I was doing when I had a lot of time at my hand. So now I get demotivated in the sense like, oh, now I'm not there is no way I do not have time. So what I need to do is I need to reduce my expectation and say, okay, these are the things I can do within the time I have. That way, when I do those things, I am not feeling down that I have not done everything I need to do, but I will be motivated to do it.
So you kind of already got into this, but what are some tips from you personally or things that have worked for you to not be lazy?
Okay.
Work hard.
Yeah, so I would start with this whole thing called as the purpose of life. And this is a progression you make, right? When we say purpose of life, it has to be more realization. And what helped me and motivated me is the fact that God has a plan and purpose for my life. And I need to do that, right? So that is number one motivation factor. Number two, what I do is I do plan. I have goals. I have some things I need to achieve weekly, daily. Do I complete everything I need to do daily? No. Sometimes unexpected events can come. Sometimes you may just not be in a mental or frame to do everything. Sometimes, there can be disruptions. But at least having that plan helps you to make progress.
So like a goal set.
Yes. So I think this is our 18th, 19th episode of Thriving Talk, right? 19th? Sorry.
Yeah, 19th.
Yeah. So if we did not make a plan back when we started that we will do one episode per week, what will have happened is we would not have done even one episode by December.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that we are going to end with 22 episodes by the end of this year, right?
Yeah.
And we started after July, or somewhere in the August time frame. Yeah. So August is when we started, I guess. Yeah. So a plan with every week. So what happens is sometimes it's tough. We had those moments in the past weeks where we didn't feel like doing it, but we push because we have a goal and we know why we are doing it. We want it to be beneficial for many others. We want our listeners to be encouraged and motivated and be thriving in their life, right? So that motivates. Same thing with writing. Sometimes I don't feel like, but still I have to do it, right? Yeah. So having that goal and purpose in life actually helps you. But then also building in relaxing time. It's not that time, slog. You have to slog every day or anything. But have some time. Like today was a perfect example where, or I think today may not be a perfect example because I went out for something. But there was a day when I was off, and what I did was I got up in the morning, but I was not feeling that great, but then I took rest that day, right? So you have to build that in, but also make sure that it is not turning into a lazy lifestyle. So having goal and purpose, and if you're lazy, I would also recommend to pray, God, help me to come out of this laziness. God can help you. Yes.
So how would you summarize laziness if you could summarize laziness in a paragraph, what would you say?
In a paragraph?
Yeah, 4 to 5 sentences.
So I would, rather than summarizing it, let me say a few things and then I will summarize.
Okay.
Sometimes what happens is people make schedules and they keep the schedules, but sometimes people don't keep the schedules. But I think having some reward system also helps.
Yeah, that's what they do in classes.
Yeah.
So if you do something, then you get a point, and then if you get this many amount of points, you get to do a party. In my own school, there was this huge board, and you had to write new words to teach people. Yeah. Once we filled the board, we had a party or something.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is personally too, right? What would be a reward system is, let's say you are planning to get something and you have been thinking about it. Why don't you have a goal, and once you achieve it, get it, so you feel good about it, right? So there could be some things like that. But I want to say that laziness comes from a lack of purpose and direction in life. And then just that relaxing mentality and not having a view of God's purpose in life, that can lead to laziness. And I will say that do not let laziness hinder you from doing things you are called to do and you are made to do, right?
Okay, good.
We all have to rise above it, and then we have to, we have been blessed with many talents, abilities, and the things we have been given, probably we have been uniquely gifted in many ways.
So we have to set our mind to it.
Yeah, so I have some things which God has given me. Probably not everyone has the same, and some people have some abilities, I don't have those. So I have to make sure that I use it, not becoming lazy, but use it. And then when they use it, we all use it, then, the purpose will be fulfilled. So laziness will eventually lead you to a very bad place in life and regrets later, because when you look back, time is not stopping for anyone. Time is just running out. And as we read in the beginning, what is going to happen is lazy people want much but will get little, and those who work hard will prosper. And so we need to be very careful that we don't end up there. So if you love sleep, you will end in poverty. Keep your eyes open. There will be plenty to eat.
So thank you for sharing that, and I hope this episode will be another blessing to others. And these are some tips for not being lazy. So I hope everyone uses this. So to everyone, thank you for listening. In the coming weeks, we will be coming back with more Dadson editions of Thriving Talk, and I'll be asking more questions. As we said in the beginning, this episode is available on many different platforms. Do not forget to follow or subscribe to the Thriving Talk podcast on your favorite platform to receive new episodes as they get released. Also, remember that my dad has a weekly newsletter in which he shares a lot of good information. The link to the newsletter is in the show notes. Feel free to subscribe to the newsletter. We'll be back, but until then, remember, we need to not be lazy and use our time wisely because we have less time in this world.
Thank you. God bless you all.